Single parenting can feel like a solo journey, but it doesn't have to be. Introducing MomFlex app, the ultimate village web app designed just for you. From financial support to community connections, MomFlex app offers a lifeline, helping you navigate parenting with confidence. Find trusted resources, build your support network, and thrive, because every parent deserves a village. Join the movement today. Visit momflex.org to install the app and take the first step toward a stronger, more supported you.
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. Stories of triumph, stories of grace. Single parents with dreams to chase. They said we'd break, they said we'd fall, but look at us now, we're standing tall. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. We push through the stigma, defy every step. They don't define us, and that's a fact. A village of love, a future so bright. Hand in hand, we own our life. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. The journey is tough, but we're not alone. In this village we found our home. So lift your head, let your spirit fly. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive.
Welcome back to Beyond the Struggle, Rise and Thrive, the space where single parents come to feel seen, supported, and strengthened. I'm your host, La Fortune, and today we are stepping into one of the most tender chapters a parent can ever face. When we imagine bringing a child into the world, we picture warmth, we picture joy, we picture teeny fingers wrapped around ours, quiet moments at home, and the soft beginning of a new life. But for millions of families, especially in our community, the story begins differently. For some, the first sound isn't a newborn's cry, it's a doctor voice calling a code. The first touch isn't skin to skin, it's through an incubator wall. And then instead of going home with your baby, you go home with a hospital bracelet, a heart full of fear, and a prayer that tomorrow brings better news. Every year, 1 in 10 babies is born too soon. And for Black and brown families, those odds rise even higher. Many of us never talk about what that really means, how it feels to sit in a stiff NICU chair or for hours watching machines breathe for your baby. How it feels to pump milk through tears because the only thing you can offer. How it feels to walk out of the hospital empty-handed, whispering, "Please be okay until I get back." Behind every statistics is a single parent trying to hold themselves together, even as their world is unraveling. That's why today's episode is so important. It's called Birth Comes Early, Surviving the NICU and Single Parenthood. And this conversation is for every parent who has ever felt helpless, afraid, hopeful, broken, brave, all at the same time. I am honored, deeply honored, to be joined by someone who truly understands this journey from the inside out. Tammy Gans is not just the author of Preemie Parents 26 Ways of Grow with Your Premature Baby, or the founder of the global Preemie Peace Movement. She's a mother who lived in the NICU for nearly a year as her micro preemie twins fought for every breath. Tammy knows what it feels like to break down in a hospital bathroom. She knows what it feels like to pray with your forehead pressed against an incubator. And she knows what it takes to go from powerless to purposeful. Tammy, welcome to Beyond the Struggle. I'm so grateful you are here, not just for your expertise, but for your heart, your courage, and your willingness to guide other parents through a journey you didn't choose but transform. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Fortune. I'm so happy to be here, chat with you.
Well, I'm glad to have you. So let's start at the very beginning because that moment stays with a parent forever. Can you take us back to the day you learned your babies were coming early? What went through your mind, your body, your spirit, and how that moment shift everything you imagined birth would be like for you?
Okay, so there was many moments where I went into labor before I was supposed to. So the beginning is actually, what drove me to it. So I was married for 12 years. I already had two beautiful kids. They were 7 and 3. And when I became unexpectedly pregnant with twins, and when I told my then husband, he gave me an ultimatum. He said that I could have him or I could have the twins, but I couldn't have both. So that's okay. I don't really like you that much anyway. So I chose the twins, became suddenly single with, two kids, and he started living his single life upstairs, like on our third floor. So the first time I went into labor, I was about 18 weeks.
Wow.
And then I went into labor again at like 21 weeks, or 20. And then they finally put me on hospitalized bed rest,
Wow.
trying to keep the pregnancy. So I was on hospitalized bed rest for 5 weeks. And what went through my head? I was like, what went through my head? I was setting my intention to keep the babies inside of me as long as possible. Like I had a date on the wall that I was shooting for, which was at the end of April.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I got really sick. I got an infection, and they ended up having to deliver the twins by emergency C-section.
Wow.
So there was not a lot of like think time in there or reflection time. It all just happened very quickly.
How are the twins now? How are the twins now? How are they doing?
So they're 19. My daughter is extraordinary. She is a sophomore in college. She's a big, giant, brilliant brain, wants to be a scientist, and work for NASA.
Nice.
Her twin brother had a much harder road. So we were in the NICU for 9 months, in the pediatric intensive care unit for 4 months, and then a rehab facility for 4 months. So when Trey came home, he just had a very poor prognosis. And I decided if something was going to happen, I would want it to happen at home, in the hospital. So Trey he's here, he's thriving. He has pretty significant special needs. But every time I look at him, I just think like, what a warrior. They wouldn't even give me a prognosis until they lived like through the first week.
Wow.
So when I look at them now, my heart gets warm and full of.
Well, that's great, that you went through that and you finally pulled through and you came to the other side. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what was your initial experience in a NICU, like as a single parent? What felt the hardest or most overwhelming during those early days?
There was a couple of things. One is I couldn't see the twins until like day 4 or day 3 because I was 6.
Wow.
They were 6. So when they finally wheeled me down, I was just like, I just got this big smile on my face. And then I was like, they're so small. Like if you open the palm of your hand, that's how big they were.
Yeah.
They were 1 pound, 12 ounces. So I was you know, immediately happy and feeling blessed, but also being very realistic that this was serious. Like I could look at them. Luckily they weren't my first kids. Like there was moms there that was their first kid. That would have been some form of debilitating.
Yeah.
Because I already had experience with kids. It wasn't as crushing, but no, you're faced with a stark reality right away, and there's no ducking it. There's no you take it home with you. It goes to bed with you. It's with you all the time.
Wow. 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 Many single parents, Tammy, feel isolated in the NICU. What are some of the unique challenges single parents face that often go unseen or unspoken when they are having to face being within the NICU?
Well, first of all, it's isolating for all parents because
Yeah.
most people have no idea what it means to have a premature baby.
Yeah.
The amount of emotional and physical toll it takes on you, like sleeping at the hospital, round the clock. So for me, as a single mom, I had two at home and two in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex was completely useless. I was like asking my cousin and my best friends to go to the house and do my daughter's hair and make sure that there was like food in the house.
Yeah.
So I was managing my home from the hospital bed, which was bananas,
Mm-hmm.
but just not having support. It only hit me every now and then because I was very focused on being present, like in the moment. I didn't really think about everything else. But every now and then, when I was driving home, I'd be like, "Wow, it'd be nice to have somebody to talk to about this."
Yeah.
That actually understood like what I was going through. But some people, they're happy for you to talk, but it sounded more like I want to hear the soap opera today. Not like I want to support you. It's like I want to hear all of your drama to entertain me.
Yeah. Well, it happens all the time. People live through the drama of others, right? As long as it's not their drama, they make you feel like they are there to listen and they want to help when in essence they're just finding the juicy information so they can go home and have conversation with their significant other, right? Sometimes
or older friends or older relatives.
Yes,
So
yes.
I agree. But I did hit a point, and this is a tip. I hit a point where I was like, I'm going to stop talking to everybody about what's going on in the hospital
Yeah.
because I'm sick of being the entertainment. So I just stopped calling and reporting in. If they called, I would keep it, very general, nothing that they could sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
And, that's like a boundary. I think you start to put up certain boundaries when you're in the NICU.
Yes, yes.
Not just to protect your babies, but your own like emotional health.
Correct.
So, there's seasons for people. So some of those people disappeared while I was in the NICU. I couldn't handle it.
Wow. So, you know, you spoke about moving from powerless to purposeful, right? How can parents begin to reclaim a sense of purpose while their baby is in a NICU? You just pointed something about boundaries. What else can they start doing?
I mean, I'll start with the end. So the entire book is 26 tips about becoming empowered. That's why it's called How to Grow with Your Premature Baby.
Yeah.
But it all starts with there's two things. One is I stopped asking why very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole chapter on WY. Like, don't ask it.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask why. The why is none of our business.
The why doesn't matter, really.
It doesn't matter. The fact is, like, this is us. I loved you said before that you were the perfect messenger. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the universe picked me because they knew I wouldn't sit quiet.
Correct.
I wouldn't try it. And so I used my life as a classroom. I'm pretty transparent.
Mm-hmm.
But the very first thing I did was I moved away from like, why me? Why this? Why? Because that gets you stuck.
Yeah.
But then the other thing I did was, I started talking to the other parents in the NICU, and then the doctors and the nurses are the ones that asked me to write this book.
Yeah.
Because they said, like, we've never seen anybody go through this experience from such a place of, like, maybe resolve isn't the right word, but I just leaned into it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't fighting it. I wasn't mad about it. So I developed these principles of peace.
Yeah.
And this is what I lived by, and I still live by it. And peace is an acronym. So the P stands for power. So the power of intention is greater than any current reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if you set your mind on something and really focus on it, the universe will move mountains to make it happen.
Yes.
In your best interest.
Yes.
If it's in your best interest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I told you when I was on bed rest, I set this intention. April 26th was how long I was going to survive on bed rest. And I only made it to March 21st, but I was so focused. I read it out loud. I looked at it all the time. So that's what the power of intention is.
That's
And then
powerful.
the E,
Yeah.
the E is that everything is energy.
Yeah.
Everything is energy. So I realized that pretty much from when I was able to start going to the NICU regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I realized I can go in there sad and depressed and upset, or I can not just put on a happy face, but feel blessed and joyful, like in this particular moment,
Yeah.
that they were still here. And I believe that the babies can pick up your energy, other people can pick up your energy. So I was very intentional about like my attitude. If I was having a bad day or a bad morning, I would kind of walk it off before I went in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's the E. And then the A is basically what I believe fundamentally is that all things will move into balance eventually.
Yeah.
So not right now, like, when you're in the NICU, that is completely out of balance. When you're a single mom too, when you're going through stuff, that means your life's not in balance.
Correct.
But eventually we hold on to the hope that everything will right itself.
Yeah, nothing lasts forever, right? Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And where you are right now is not where you're going to be in 5 minutes or
No.
5 hours or 5 days. Like we are constantly
Evolving.
and changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I held on to that. Like I didn't know what the outcome was going to be with the twins, but I had held on to the fact that, listen, everything's going to right itself at some point.
Yeah.
When that is completely out of my control.
Yeah.
And then the C in peace. Basically, I learned the hard way, which is caring for myself precedes caring for anyone else.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that because I say this all the time. Self love and self care is what is going to get you to walk the next mile. Because if you don't take care of you, if you pour from an empty cup, I say this all the time because I use this and I say, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Then you won't be able to do anything. You need to fill your cup in order for you to fill others' cup. Right. So I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I learned that twice in my life the hard way. Once was just this past summer. Like I wasn't taking care of myself. I was run down.
Yeah.
I ended up falling off a plane, the wing of a plane, got a massive concussion, and all of my vitamins were depleted. I went undiagnosed.
Wow.
I was taking my son for surgery in Cincinnati. So I'm still in it back and forth.
Yeah,
But
wow.
that was terrible self-care. Like I hadn't eaten, I wasn't hydrated, I wasn't taking my vitamins. So that was like a knock in the head reminder to constantly take care of yourself. And then the E is that everything is exactly as the universe intended it to be.
Yes.
So if you fight against your reality and start to embrace the fact that like this is all in order, this isn't being done to me, it's being done for me.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I learn and how do I grow and how do I help other people do the same thing?
Yeah. But then we are taught that we're master of our own lives, right? Although when we commend the universe and give comment to the universe knows better what is good for us and what isn't good for us. And sometimes we want to force too much of it. We want to force the universe to do things that they don't feel like is best for us. And we keep pushing, right? Yeah, so to your point, it's better for us to just stand still and accept what it is and move with the flow. Basically, it's like you are trapped in a current and you want to fight off the current. The best strategy is just to let the current take you. And it will eventually take you wherever it has to take you, and eventually you will come out of it, right? But if you keep fighting, then you lose the energy that you will have to even survive through that current. So they usually say, "Oh, don't fight the current, just let it."
You know what? Find something to hang on to and drift.
Yes, yes,
Just find something to hang on to and drift.
yes.
And whatever that thing is, as long as it's good for you and it's healthy for you, like it's basically survival mode.
Yes,
You
it
know,
is. It is.
naked and afraid.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. It's surviving mode all day, actually, all day, every day. The first time, I remember the first time I saw a preemie baby, I was 14 and I went to the hospital. I was visiting somebody and I saw this teeny little human being. I was like, oh, did that, that's a person? I was so shocked to see that. For the life of me, that image got stuck in my head even now.
It's a miracle, really. The
Yes.
technology has come so far. What's so interesting though? You mentioned at the top that prematurity over indexes in Black and brown communities.
Yes.
And the leading cause, the only thing they could trace back, and this is like from the March of Dimes, the only thing they could trace back to the cause is stress.
Wow.
Stress.
Wow.
And we live a stressed out life. All of us, we're on the grind, we're raising kids, we're running here, we're running there, you're doing your podcast. Like, we live in a stressed out society, and that's why this conversation about mental wellness, like, I feel like I started practicing that when I was on bed rest. They were like, you must chill,
Yes.
you must relax. And that's when I started like practice, like really putting into practice of like meditation and like stress relief. Like I teach a stress relief workshop, and that is all like right from my own vault on how to just chill.
Yeah, you just touch on that because I was about to ask you that question about Black and brown babies are very, very, very much disproportionate and that they are born prematurely. So, but how do these disparities show up in the NICU, and how can single parents navigate the emotional way of that reality?
Well, there is no emotional reality of being single in the NICU.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So I would say, I mean, I said before, sort of like the sooner you accept it, the
Yeah.
sooner, the easier that path is going to be. I also think that there are by the way, just because you're not single doesn't mean you're not there by yourself. So I saw a lot of couples where the dad went to work every day and the mom sat there all by herself, just like us.
Well, I always say this, and I say this all the time to every woman that you marry or not. When you are in a marriage, there are couples that are married that operate as if they are de facto single parents. Okay, the woman is married and she is a single parent in her marriage.
Me, when I was married, that's why it wasn't such a crazy adjustment when I got divorced.
Yes.
Because I mean, I took on my vacation by myself. I did everything. But I think what's important, so I'm not a group person. Like, I don't work out in groups. I don't like do groups.
You and I both.
But in the NICU, I started to become friends with the other moms, and we would be like in the nursing room together. And then, the nursing room was big enough to hold like 5 of us, and we started to like talk. We started to just like we started to break at the same time so we could just sit and chat about stuff, about like the craziness that we've seen, what's going on at home, like just rapping, like, regular women.
Yes.
So I would encourage you to build community there in the NICU. Like, I love the social worker. She was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no place else where you're going to find a community of women that actually are going through what you're going through, except for in the NICU.
Yes.
Right. So people visiting is one thing, but somebody who actually is going through it, something totally different.
Correct. I think when you guys have a share problem or a share challenge, you are able to help each other more than someone who doesn't understand, because you both are walking on the same shoe. You are understanding. You can understand each other. You can understand the other person's struggles better than anybody outside can.
Yeah, and we've kept in touch. So this has been all this time, like exchanging Christmas cards, like, dropping a text here and there. Like, that was a long time ago, and we're still connected by that one experience. And babies have died. We've gone to funerals, so that it hasn't always been like rosy. It's not always a happy outcome, but we were always there, like, for all of that.
It's I always say death is part of life, no matter what we do, right? It's just, it never comes in a better way. There is no better way for it. It just happens, and as humans, we have just come to accept it. whether we like it or not, right?
Right.
It's part of life. It's nothing we can do. That's one thing that we can never control and we can never have control over. And that leads me to ask you, I see that your mindset play a bigger role into what you went through and how you came out on the other side of this journey. But not every parent is you, and not every parent is able to have that mindset, right? How can parent then protect their peace when fear is a constant factor in that environment for them?
Yeah, that is a great question. And by the way, I mean, some people read the book and they love it, but there's always some people that are like, oh, that's such BS. Like,
Yeah,
nobody can live like that.
yeah.
Except I actually live like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is, like, the first time they tell you that your baby's not going to make it
Yeah.
and you're done crying and you're, done being afraid. Because, you get the call. Like, I was there in the middle of the night the first time that happened, and they were like, we don't think he's going to make it through the night.
Mm-hmm.
And you just sort of, like, I don't know, I just became very peaceful and very grateful. And, like, if I only had him for 5 days, I'm grateful that he was here for this time. And, I bless him. Like, I don't believe in suffering. I don't believe in any of that. And even when they were born, I was like, if they look like they want to fight, then do all of your best effort to save them. If
Yeah.
they don't look like they want to fight, then don't.
Yeah.
That's what I told the doctors, because they asked you, what do you want us to do? And they come out. So yeah, it's real. I think the thing is to see things as they are, not worse than they are and not better than they are.
Yeah.
And that is just a good place to start, is just having perspective. And then you sort of learn as you go. Like, I mean, everything in the book I learned as I went. I just learned it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But, things like, how do you deal with your family and how do you advocate for your kid? Like, there's no manual for that.
Yeah.
So that's what's in the book. Like, how do you speak up while still being respectful if you need to be?
And to your point that people will call BS on other person journey is ludicrous for me, because at the end of the day, we all walk our own path, and how we manage that path is dependent upon us, how we want and our mindset and what we believe in. Some people will rather have a weaker mindset the whole life, and they always find excuses why they cannot do better than they are doing right now. And some other people will say, enough. I am not going to live this way. I have decided that this is how I'm going to live my life. And when you make that decision, which decision you did, then you transform your life. But if you remain in this constant negative path, then of course you're going to see every person who is transmigrating their life as, oh, that's BS, or that's not possible. It is possible. All it is you taking time, 1 minute of your time, and changing your mindset and deciding that you want better for yourself and better for the other person and better for the people that you're caring for. And, and let the
Absolutely.
universe do the rest, right?
Yes, absolutely. Agreed.
So when you finally take the babies home as a preemie mom, many parents and single parents feel a mix of joy and fear. What kind of guidance do you offer to navigate that transition with confidence? Because now they don't have all those doctors and nurses anymore. It's just you and you at home, and your child is still a preemie and still needs care. How do you how do you help them? What do you think? How will they be navigating that transition?
It is scary. Like, I took my twins home at separate times, like very different times. So I took my daughter home when she was 4 months old.
Yeah.
And then my son didn't come home until he was 18 months old. So I didn't ever have them at the same time, in the house until they were older. But it is scary. So when my daughter came home, she was on monitors because she had sleep apnea,
Yeah.
which means that she would fall asleep and stop breathing.
Yeah.
So she was on oxygen, she was on meds. Yeah, it's harrowing. So I'm not going to lie to you. It is scary, especially when the monitor goes out in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
we had a little tornado once. It was like 2 days after she came home from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We had a microburst tornado and we had no power. And her machine was running, batteries were running low. I was completely panicked. Yeah, I was scared. And somehow that guy managed to get down my street, in time for me to switch out the batteries. But I think there's a couple of things. One is that you will be offered help in the hospital before you go home.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be offered like nursing or different kinds of therapies, speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, you name it. They're going to give you a list of resources, and your answer to everything should be yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is no time to be proud. This is no time to be like, I can do it on my own. The more help you have, the more you're going to be able to sort of lean into the experience and also take care of yourself and also take care of whoever else you're taking care of. So that's the first thing, because my instinct is I'm Superwoman. I don't need anybody's help. I can do this all myself.
Don't we all?
Yeah, and then the social worker was like, she like knocked some sense into me. She's like, you're a single mom. You have a kid in the hospital. You got a kid going home on monitors. You got two at home. Take the help.
Yes.
So yeah, so I had nursing. They came in to do different therapies. So that's a big thing. And also those people are trained to do this and you're not.
Yeah, yeah.
So I learned so much from the nurses and I learned a lot from the therapists about how to mother a kid that might have medical issues or special needs or any number of things that can go wrong, in a NICU. So when you also surround yourself and have that help, it's also a learning experience. Like I'm a way better mother because I listened to them and what they were telling me.
It's interesting because when you're a mom, well, there is no manual actually for motherhood anyways. I wish all women can chip in and we can create a manual for motherhood. But I still think that even after we create this there is no manual. Even if we decide to create a manual right now and we put that manual there for the younger generation to be able to use that manual moving forward, there will still be variable to that manual. There will still be things that comes from nowhere that as a person, as a human, as a mother, you're going to have to learn to navigate on your own because things just happen, right? You were resisting help, but you finally learned that, hey, I am human. I'm going to go ahead and take this help. And that help made you who you are right now as a mom. And you are now able to get that information and pass it along to other mothers and say, listen, put your pride on the side and take the help.
Take the help, absolutely. Don't do what I did.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And you know what? It makes a difference. And everybody's going to come home with a different situation, which is important to acknowledge.
Yes.
Some people are going to come home with, babies that are permanently disabled.
Yeah.
And some will, like Bria was considered special needs until she turned 5 and her brain turned on.
Yeah.
So, everybody's situation is different, but taking the help is a big thing. And for a lot of us, especially single moms, it is hard to ask for help.
Yes. You spoke about, you defined the acronym piece for me earlier. How do you think that your peace movement supports parents through and after the NICU journey?
Yeah, so the peace movement, of course, is virtual. I'm going to be doing trainings and doing gatherings. But listen, the skills that I learned in the NICU are transferable to the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's made me extremely resilient. It's an approach to dealing with adversity and overcoming challenges. Yeah, I see everything as an opportunity for growth.
Correct.
But honestly, the same skills I talk about in this book are the same skills that you will use over and over again in your dealings with people, in being a parent, in navigating difficult situations. I mean, if we stripped out all of the NICU from this book, it would just be like a regular, here's how to be an awesome mom.
Yeah. How to be resilient and purposeful.
Yeah, resilient. That is bounce back, how to
Yes.
maintain your own sense of identity in the middle of all of this.
Yes, yes, yes. Because definitely when you have kids, you first of all, just set aside the fact that they're not preemies. Even when you have kids, you kind of lose yourself and lose the sense of your identity. So if now you add the fact that you are dealing with kids with special needs or kids that are going through growth because they're not completely grown, it is a lot. It's a lot for one person to handle, right? So
Absolutely.
I will say thank you for creating that book, that those 21 ways to helping, those parents who are going through it, going to this NICU journey. And like you say, any journey whatsoever, not just the NICU, but because your book is more of a reference of the NICU, then,
Yes. I'm thinking about doing the other thing.
Yes, yes. So for the single parents listening right now, Tammy, from the NICU right at this moment, they are exhausted, they are hopeful, they are afraid, and they are trying their best. What message would you want to give them today at this moment right now?
I would say to them that you are stronger than you think.
Mm-hmm.
You are stronger than you think. And this is the ultimate test of that strength.
Yeah.
So I think we all have some level of strength in us, and then we step into the NICU and it goes to a whole nother level
Yeah.
because it doesn't serve anybody. Like you crumbling does not serve anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, I tell this story about the oak tree and the willow tree.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be the oak. Even I wanted to be the oak. I wanted to stand up strong and tall and be impossible to push over.
Mm-hmm.
And then next to me is a willow. And the willow, when it gets windy, the willow just bends with the wind and it springs back up again.
Yeah.
So, and when I was an oak and a big wind came, meaning a challenge came, like my legs would fall off. Like my branches would fall off.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, and it took me a while, but I learned over time through a lot of personal development.
To
And a
become
lot
the
of
willow.
reflecting on, I became the willow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all I'm suggesting with the peace movement and the books. Just become the willow. Just bend with whatever situation you're in, and see what there is to learn while you're in it.
Yeah.
And then you spring back up, and we keep moving forward.
That's a great analogy for even people who are just going through it. Like if you are going through it and you don't know what to do, you don't know what direction to move, you have broken down because you're about to give up everything, become the willow and just become the willow. I love that. I love that. So tell me, where can my listeners find you?
So they can find me online. My website is Tammy, TAMI Games, GAINES, at TammyGames.com. I'm also on all the socials at Tammy Games.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can Google me. I'm all over the place.
Well, I'm going to add.
I would love for you to reach out.
Yes, I will add that information at the end of this podcast, like on the description of the podcast, that I will copy paste that information. So when people are listening, they can grab that information as well and follow through your social media journey and reach out to you and stuff. If you have something else you want to tell my listeners right now, what will it be?
Well, I will tell you this, that starting in January, I am starting a wine o'clock. Once a month or twice a month. I haven't quite decided. We will gather in a very casual environment.
Yes.
And use that as a safe space to complain, to ask for help, to ask for advice.
Yes.
There'll be relatively small groups so we can get to know each other.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I'm excited to start wine o'clocks.
Nice.
Which is just a way of like connecting. And by the way, you don't have to have a preemie. They're just for women that want to drop in and say what's up.
Yes, just connect with other women. I love that. I love that. So Tammy, thank you. Thank you for your courage, your vulnerability, and your leadership. Thank you for turning one of the hardest experience as a parent can walk through into a lantern of hope for others. Your story does something powerful. It gives single parents permission to breathe again. permission to trust again, permission to believe that even in their most fragile, exhausted, heartbreaking moments, strength is still growing inside them. They can become a widow. Your journey reminds us that healing doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes quietly, in the steady beep of a monitor, in a teeny weight gain, in a single deep breath from a baby who wasn't supposed to make it through the night. Sometimes it comes in the courage of a parent who shows up every day, even when their heart feels like it's shattering. To every single parent listening right now, if your birth came early, if your baby is in a NICU, if you are juggling exhaustion, grief, hope, and fear all at once, if you have ever walked out of a hospital with tears burning behind your mask, if you ever felt guilty of leaving or scared to stay, if you ever whispered, please be okay, while stepping out into the cold night, hear me clearly. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not alone. You are a parent loving in one of the most courageous ways possible, minute by minute, ounce by ounce, breath by breath. Your journey may have started earlier than expected, but so did your strength. And that strength is not just surviving, it's rising. I want to leave you with a quote that echoes today's message. In the NICU, hope is measured in ounces, but the strength of a parent is immeasurable. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Beyond the Struggle, Rise and Thrive. Share this episode with a parent who needs encouragement today, a parent who just needs to hear that they are doing the best they can in a situation no one ever prepares for. Keep rising, keep breathing, and keep believing in your own resilience. Your strength is real. Your love is powerful. And you are doing work that matters more than you know. Until next time, ciao now.
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. Stories of triumph, stories of grace. Single parents with dreams to chase. They said we'd break, they said we'd fall, but look at us now, we're standing tall. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. We push through the stigma, defy every stat. They don't define us, and that's a fact. A village of love, a future so bright. Hand in hand, we own our life. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. The journey is